Hi, Tom from bknutrition.com, and in this video I'm going to discuss which is better for getting in shape the fastest. Is it weights or is it cardio? Now I'm going to discuss what I do in my coaching community to get results from my clients. This might sound as if it's a pitch for my coaching community. It is not. It's just the way I've worked with clients, and it is just to give you an idea about how I apply the science of the real world into the actual real world of working with coaching clients. Now, when people talk about, say, fat loss and muscle building, they often talk about weights for muscle building and cardio for fat loss. But it is not a mutually exclusive club. You can still burn body fat by lifting weights, and you can build some muscle by doing cardio, although it's not loads. But my argument here is, why do we not combine the two in order to give a more, maybe a quicker, but a more enjoyable result? Now, if you watched any of my other videos on my 6 principles, I have 6 principles for a successful body transformation, and they are: only eat food you like, exercise should be fun, accountability leads to action, community leads to confidence, consistency leads to results, and incredible acts start with small actions. Now, the relevance of number 2, which is the exercise should always be fun, is really prevalent here, really relevant, so I should say, because a lot of people, when they want to get in shape fast for a holiday or whatever, what they do is they do their weights and then they go and do their cardio. And what they do when they're cardio is, I hate cardio, so I'm going to try and make it as interesting as possible. So you see a lot of people getting their phones out or their iPads or whatever and watching, say, Netflix or something while they are doing their cardio. Now, if you've done this, we've all done this. Before we had Netflix and all that stuff on smartphones, I used to have a little DVD player, which I used to take to the gym with me, and I used to have a stack of DVDs, and I would watch things like 24 and The Sopranos while I was doing my cardio with my DVD player all up there hacked onto the cardio machine. And that would ensure I did 40 minutes of cardio, because I would watch an episode and it was 40 minutes, so I'd know I'd done my cardio back then. But I hated it. I hated the fact that I had to stand there for 40 minutes just stepping up and down or walking for 40 minutes, and it was boring and I hated doing it. The only thing that got me through it was watching that TV program. Now, if that's the only thing that gets you through your cardio, then you will understand the frustration of not bringing a DVD, or in more of a modern times, no Wi-Fi, so you can't watch your Netflix or whatever, and so you have to actually just sit there doing your cardio, trying to work out how many blocks of 5 minutes it's going to take you to get to your 40 minutes, and then doing the maths on that and working back, and all these wonderful things in your head to try and keep yourself interested. A lot of people do that. Now, there are people who do cardiovascular fitness for actual health and fitness. Say if they're doing a triathlete or a 5K or something like that, then they are doing the cardio aspect of it in order to build the stamina and build the endurance to be able to do that event, that activity. So I'm not talking about people like that, because they're doing the cardio for an activity to try and perform better. What this video is about is people who do cardio just to burn the calories. Now, in my coaching group, I do an activity twice a week, which is called Get the Kettle On, and it's a kettlebell workout. I use a lighter kettlebell because I train with weights in the week, so my main weights workout is done in the gym with all the weights in the gym. And the Get the Kettle On workout is essentially a weighted cardio session. It's about 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and basically I just run through some really giant sets to do things like squats, overhead pressing, swings, that sort of thing. Now, it's not intended, well, not for me anyway. A lot of the women in my group do it with a heavier kettlebell, so they can actually get a proper weights workout in. But it's not intended to be a proper weights workout for me. For me, I tend to do it with a lighter kettlebell, so I can do lots and lots of reps, burn up a lot of calories, and get my heart rate up. And it's continuous. We do, say, 2-3 minutes at a time, then we have a little bit of rest. It's more like HIIT cardio. Now, by doing that, I'm doing what I love doing, which is lifting weights. I like lifting weights. I've been a bodybuilder pretty much all my life, since 17. So, and I used to love He-Man and all that stuff before. So I always knew I wanted to be a bodybuilder. I always knew I wanted to lift weights and do all that sort of stuff. And I've been lifting weights since that time. So that's like nearly 30 years now. And I like doing weighted stuff. I don't like jogging on the spot, doing star jumps, doing burpees. I hate doing burpees. Although my staff at my gym, when I do one of the gym classes, my son, they love getting me doing burpees, even though I knew it wasn't on their list of things to do that day. However, I do them because I'm with my son and I'm enjoying the experience with my son. But I would not do those things. I would not do that type of exercise class if I was on my own, because I hate that sort of stuff. So I do always a weighted workout. Now, even when I was competing in bodybuilding and I was doing cardio, towards the end when my mind was going really to mush with low carbs, I would much prefer to do sort of full body like pump up workouts with a very light bar, like a 10 kilo bar or something. And I would do essentially the equivalent of what I'm doing now with the Get the Kettle On workouts, where I do half an hour sort of HIIT type workouts with a very light weight in order to burn calories, but also give my muscles a little bit of a taxing workout. Now, lifting that weight is not going to facilitate my muscles breaking down and building up bigger, because there's not enough stimulus for that, and I don't go to failure. Remember, you need the failure signal to send that thing to build more muscles. So as the weight for me is not heavy enough to do that. However, because I am lifting weight and it's more than what I would normally lift. So say, for example, I'm lifting my arm above my head. If I'm doing that with just my arm, that's something I'm used to doing and my body's conditioned to doing that. If I do it with a weight, that small amount of resistance has to burn through a little bit more muscle glycogen. What that means is that when you're burning through more muscle glycogen, the body then has to replenish that glycogen, and it has to produce more enzymes to be able to turn the carbohydrates from the food you eat into the glycogen to replenish the muscles. Now, if you have a high amount of glycogen turnover in your body, you will start to produce more glycogen enzymes. What that means in terms of beneficial if you're trying to lose weight is that the more ability you have to turn the carbohydrates into glycogen, the less chance, if you overeat, of it going to body fat. And that's a really important point. You become something called more insulin sensitive, whereby the food that you eat gets converted more easily to muscle glycogen. And what you also get is a little bit of something called supercompensation, where the body potentially overstores a little bit of glycogen because it's expecting maybe some of this more exercise to come. Now, the more and more you do weights, the more you'll actually walk around with a little bit more of a pumped sense on, because you'll be replenishing and topping up glycogen more actively through the day and through the week. If you say you go on holiday and you don't train for a few days, a lot of people report they feel flat because they've lost muscle when they're on holiday. That's actually not what's happened. What happened is it's because you haven't trained with weights for a couple of days. Normally you might be training 4 or 5 days with weights. Because you haven't done that, the body actually loses some of this muscle glycogen, because there's no need to, or when you go through it, it doesn't actually start replenishing it to a high degree as it would when you were training. So if you go the other way, where you're training with weights, let's say 5 or 6 times a week, where I am, I'm doing weighted workouts in the gym and also 2 rounds of this weighted cardio. Well, I'm actually restoring glycogen all the time, so I walk around with a more tighter, more pumped physique. Now let's just make sure we're clear here. I haven't really changed the calories I've eaten in the last 6 to 8 months. I've eaten around about the same calories, but I look better because I've been doing this bit of extra cardio and because I've been doing all this weighted stuff. I used to do a little bit of, say, treadmill and stuff like that to get those extra calorie burn up. I don't do any of that now. All I do is my twice a week weighted kettlebells and also my weighted sessions in the gym. So my cardio is actually a weighted cardio, and it's working very well. I burn about 600 calories a week doing it, combined with my food intake, which is normally in a very slight deficit, and my expenditure in my gym workouts, which are about 600 to 700 calories on average all the time, and about 7,000 steps a day. I generally keep in a very, very good shape. And the key thing here is I'm absolutely enjoying those workouts. I originally started it in lockdown because although I could get to gym because I own a gym, a lot of my community couldn't. So we did the weighted kettlebell as a sort of a stopgap. However, when lockdown ended, everyone said, "Yeah, we still like all those workouts, so let's keep going." So I've been doing it for the last 6 months, and they all love it because it's interesting. It gets their mind engaged, and it's a lot nicer than, say, walking on a treadmill for half an hour. So the message here is that, okay, if you like doing treadmill for half an hour, 40 minutes, I'm not saying don't do that, but if you hate doing that sort of stuff and you're only doing it because that's the way to burn calories, I want to challenge you to have a little think of yourself is, would you prefer to do more weighted, light weighted stuff? You know, you can buy kettlebells for home, you can buy light dumbbells for home, you can buy even a sandbag for home now. And you can do a lot of stuff with those weights. It doesn't have to be an all-out taxing workout, but you can do a lot of stuff with a set of dumbbells, light dumbbells, and 1 or 2 kettlebells. You don't need a lot of stuff. You can do it at home. It takes 25 minutes. If you want to know what I'm talking about, then there are a few of the Get the Kettle On workouts stored on this channel. If you're listening on the podcast, go to my YouTube channel, you'll be able to see it. And you can see what I do for those. If you want to follow along, just grab a kettlebell or a dumbbell and you can follow along with one of the workouts and see if it works for you. If it does, maybe incorporate that into your own training schedule and actually go and enjoy cardio for a bit and enjoy being fit and enjoy being more active. I actually feel more active and more fitter from doing those workouts than I did when I was just doing my weights workouts and my little bit of walking on the treadmill. So it's worked for me, beneficial for me. It can work for you. So my message here is make sure you enjoy your exercise at all times. Never do cardio that you're just doing to burn up calories. Find an alternative way of doing it if you don't like it. If you don't like walking on the treadmill or on the stepper, find an alternative way of burning up calories so you actually enjoy it. Then you'll actually release endorphins when you train. You'll feel good about it rather than getting off the treadmill going, oh, thank God, that is over. Because all that'll do is build up a negative reinforcement that you hate cardio and you'll find ways not to do it. And actually your output will be less because you won't like it. My output on the Get the Kettle Ons has gone up in the last 6 months. I'm now burning between 300 and 400 calories per session when it was about 250 to 300 before, because I'm able to do more because I'm fitter and I actually enjoy it and it's a challenge for me. So find exercise that you like doing and do more of that. Don't do exercise that you don't like doing because you'll hate it. Same as don't eat foods that you don't like because you'll hate it and you'll find a way out of that diet. If you're always eating food you like and you're always doing exercise that you like, two incredible combinations and put together give you the body that you want because you'll keep doing it consistently over and over again. That's principle 4. Consistency brings change. Okay, so hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you got something for it, learned something maybe, and maybe you'll take it away and do something better in your life and get the body you want. Okay, if you like that video, please like. And if you want to see more of my random stuff on YouTube or on the podcast, just subscribe and you'll get a notification when I do another video or podcast. Okay, thanks for now. See you later.